Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mae Cave. My name is Maegan, and today I am bringing you 3 book reviews in one video. I have never done this before, but typically because most of my reviews take up enough time to take up one video, I think I've only done 1 or 2 mini reviews. But these books have enough to say about them to want to do a review of them, but not enough to fill up 1 review for each book, so I'm going to give you 3 books in one. There you go. So the 3 books I have for you, they were all giveaways, books I won in a giveaway. They are The Orchard by Yochi Brandis, translated from Hebrew by Daniel Livingston. I also have Bonfire by Krysten Ritter, and then I won an ebook of One Click by Andrea. I should have put in little timestamps with each book, which will be when those reviews start in the video if you're only interested in 1 or 2 of the books. If you're interested in all 3, then stay for all 3. So I'm going to start with The Orchard by Yochi Brandis. I won this from Library Thing Early Reviewers and Geffen Publishing. This is actually a very big hit in Israel, and it was translated recently, and now it's here in the US. I was really intrigued by the description, which I'll read to you because it's kind of hard to just paraphrase. It's really short. So, the author weaves together biblical texts, Talmudic lore, and historical events in the spellbinding story of the origins of Judaism and Christianity, as seen through the eyes of Rachel, wife of the revered yet enigmatic Rabbi Akiva. The ancient sages become flesh and blood human beings struggling to chart a new course after the terrible destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. Now, I did talk about this book in, I believe, my April wrap-up, and I DNF'd this book, actually. It is decently long. I mean, it's only 380 pages, but it feels longer than that. I only got halfway through. Now, it is interesting to start with. It's interesting at the very first few chapters, and then it starts to get into a little bit more of, like, there's a lot of discussion of, theological discussion, basically. The Rabbi Akiva, before he becomes a rabbi, he is in school to be a rabbi, and it's just a lot of talk about that kind of stuff, and it's only semi-interesting. There's a little bit of background politics, some stuff about his wife Rachel. I don't know, and not all of it is actually told from Rachel's viewpoint. A lot of the chapters are from his viewpoint, so I was getting kind of bored, and I wanted to stick with it to see what the end was, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if it would be worth it. So I stopped where I was. I kind of skimmed a little bit at the end. I'm still not sure if the ending is worth finishing it, but I am going to give it to my mom and see if she will read it, because she has the same historical fiction taste as I do, and this sounds really interesting to her. So if I think she can deal with the theological talk more than I can. So I'm going to give it to her. Give it to her soon, and she'll try and read it, and if she can get through it, then maybe I'll try again. But it just wasn't there for me. It started out interesting, but it's kind of slowed down. It's really all about the characters, and there's not a lot of plot to it, and I'm definitely more of a plot-driven reader than a character-driven reader, so I don't know. I would say try it, because there are definitely way more 4 and 5-star reviews of this book than there are 3, 2, and 1-star reviews, and I give it 3 stars in general because it did entice me, and I am thinking about trying it again later. I just wasn't feeling it when I was reading it in April, so I don't know, if you guys any of you have read this book, let me know down below what you think, if you think it's worth it, if you think there's just a slump in the middle and it gets faster at the end or something. It just wasn't for me. I mean, it was obviously because I wanted to read it, but there was just more about the theology than there were about the characters and the overall events, so that part wasn't interesting to me. So, I don't know, we'll see. And then the next one is Bonfire by Krysten Ritter. I also won this in a giveaway, but from Goodreads, and I don't remember the publisher's name. But if you don't recognize it, Krysten Ritter is an actress. She does Jessica Jones. She did Be in Apartment 23, and she's a pretty good actress. This is a thriller book. It is set around the main character, whose name I've already forgotten, Abby, who left her small town a long time ago to become an environmental lawyer. And now she's back as an adult to study some water plant that has kind of taken over the town. Even though they've revived the town, they've paid for a lot of things like school gymnasiums and parks and that kind of thing. There may be evidence to suggest that they're leaching chemicals into the drinking water of the town. So she's there to investigate, and it's like this thriller that connects to her past. There's this girl who up and left. For some reason, she disappeared. Everyone thinks she just ran away, and Abby thinks maybe not. So it overall has an interesting premise. I did read the whole book. And actually, I don't think it was that long. It was, let's see, 276 pages, so it's not that long. It seems more like, I mean, it is her first book, so it does seem like a first book for an author. It's a little bit cookie cutter. It's not totally original. It was interesting enough to finish. I did enjoy the ending. It was an interesting twist and everything that had some stereotypical, like, oh, she's doing this kind of thing. And, I mean, she herself was still an interesting character, but she ended up sleeping with someone. I was like, okay, that's obviously that was going to happen, and obviously he was this guy. And so there were some things that were kind of like, okay, you know, it wasn't really thriller to me. It didn't, like, keep me on the edge of my seat. It was interesting enough to keep me going. But that was just it. It was just okay. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad or awful. It was just okay. I give it 3 stars, maybe 3.5. So I would suggest reading it if you're new to the thriller section and you're looking for something easy to pick up, easy to read. This is definitely one for that. And it's still an alright read if you're looking for something light and easy to read. If you're used to thrillers, then go ahead and pick it up. But if you're really looking for a good, like, edge-of-your-seat thriller, this is not that. So take it with a grain of salt. It's there. It's for some people, not for other people. I liked it enough. I don't know if I'll keep it, but I liked it enough that I'm glad I read it once at least. So that was that one. And then the third and final book that I'm talking about is One Click by Andrea. I won this through Library Thing. And I think she's an Irish author because the book is actually set mainly in Ireland and partly in Italy. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it is another kind of like thriller, psychological thriller about 2 main characters, Chloe and Lauren. So Lauren is the main character, and Chloe is kind of like the second main character. So basically what happens is Lauren is on vacation in Italy with her 2 teenage daughters, and she is a psychologist. She's also a photo blogger that she keeps separate from work. It has a name that I don't remember, and she likes very kind of photos, and she sees this woman laying on a beach chair reading a book. It looks very lovely. She takes a picture of it. She posts it on her Instagram thinking, oh, it's not that bad. You can't really see her face. You won't really be able to recognize her, and it'll be fine. I'll just post it. It'll be really quick, and she had captioned it with something catchy, and it actually got a lot of traction because of the caption that she put on it and how lovely the photo was. And she ends up then getting these messages from someone saying, hey, I need to know who this woman is. You need it, and like really harassing her for information about the woman in the photo. And she ends up bumping into the woman in the photo a couple times before the vacation's over and tells her about what's going on. I'm sorry that I posted your photo, kind of thing. And then the lady's kind of like, the lady is like, okay, you know, it's cool, we'll figure it out. And it kind of goes from there, and then they both go back home, and the messages keep getting worse. The messages from this person start targeting Lauren as well as the lady in the photo. And I thought it was really interesting. It started a bit slow. You're like, okay, you know, we're getting to the groove of things, getting to know the characters. But then about a third, maybe a little bit less farther into the book, it really starts to pick up pace, and then all the plot really comes in, and I thought it was really good. I highly enjoyed it. I give the book 4 stars because the connections between Lauren and the woman in the photo, who is Cleo, I mean, not like the connections, but their stories, why they're interweaving over these messages from this guy, who this guy ends up being, what it has to do with Cleo and her picture, why does this guy want to know about her, what is Cleo hiding, what is her backstory, and you actually do get her backstory. There are chapters from Lauren's perspective at first, and then it goes back and forth, chapters from Cleo, and then chapters from Lauren. It's easy to tell because they all are titled Lauren or Cleo, so it's not like, oh man, who am I in now? So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting. The twist was very unexpected at the end, who the messages were from. I had some ideas. She gave you like 1 or 2 people that you think are going to be it, but aren't. And the person that is the messaging sender isn't obvious at all until I figured it out right before the characters did, and so that's pretty late in the books, and I didn't know the entire time who this was. I had some ideas, but still, it was pretty cool. The twist was very interesting. Why this person was so hardcore trying to find out who the lady in the photo was. And also Cleo's side of the story. There was some stuff on her side that was like a separate plot almost, that you kind of think has to do with the messages, but it may or may not have to do with the messages near the end, and it's very interesting. I enjoyed the whole book, honestly. It was a really good... It didn't have me at the edge of my seat for the most part, but there were a few sections where the writing was really good, and you felt like you were either watching the video that they were watching or in the room with them, and it was really good. I really enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it. It's not definitely like an A-game thriller where you're on the edge of your seat the whole time, but it is a good, like, medium thriller. I still recommend it even to those that are a little more into hardcore, like, suspenseful thrillers. And it could still be a good beginning novel for people in thrillers, because it's not super edge of your seat or very suspenseful. It's not, like, heart-racing, but it's still really good, and I really enjoyed the writing. I like the story. I liked almost everything about it. It was just a little slow at the beginning, but all the characters are original. They're flawed, but they have some good things to them, not just completely awful people. I did like the characters, and yeah, I guess that's kind of it. So I really enjoyed One Click by Andrea Mara. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's probably my favorite of the 3 books I read in this video, and I recommend it. I don't have a copy, obviously. There's a picture there. I got an ebook version. I think I said that already, but it's okay. Anyway, those are the 3 books that I'm reviewing for you guys today. If you've read any of them, or even if you're not, let's talk about them down below. And that's it for this video, so I'll see you in my next one. Bye.